So, from the time I was very young, when my parents would have parties, or in later years when my brothers and I would have parties, and my mother would sort of start down the path of telling her showbiz tales, which she loved to do. She loved to hold court. If people would say, Eileen, what was it like working with Marilyn Monroe? She would get very quiet and she would get very tight-lipped. And if people pressed the issue and she really started talking about Marilyn, invariably she wound up in tears. And my mother was known for playing these kind of hard-boiled, crusty, tough customers, which was really very much what she was like in many ways. Of course, that was a facade. I mean, she was a jellyfish underneath, if anyone really stood up to her. But she loved to sort of play the kind of brusque, tell them all to go to hell kind of characters. So the fact that she would burst into tears every time she talked about Marilyn Monroe up until the day she died was really profound to me. And I knew bits and pieces of her stories about Marilyn and working on Bus Stop, but I really started doing some research on that. And I was directing a production and in Manhattan Beach, and I vowed to myself, I was listening to audiobooks about Marilyn Monroe all summer long, and I vowed to myself as soon as the play was over that I would hole up at my place in Palm Springs in the August heat and would not come out until I had a draft of this play. So I started realizing more and more as I put various pieces together that when Marilyn Monroe shot the film A Bus Stop, where my mother was cast as her best friend, at this point, Marilyn was the biggest star in the world. And she had taken the year off, the year before that, to study in New York with Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio. And she had become the epitome of the method actress, where one has to feel everything organically. And since my mother was playing her best friend, Marilyn was determined, as the ultimate method actress, to make my mother her best friend. And at first, it made my mother very uncomfortable. And she was thinking, who's this starlet who's kind of glomming onto me and making me feel very uncomfortable? But ultimately, the two of them really bonded through their wounds. And both women were adopted. And as a result of that, among many other things, for all that they both achieved, Marilyn in films and my mother mostly on Broadway, neither one of them ever felt that they truly deserved a place at the table. There was always that sense of the missing piece, always that sense of, I'm not worthy of this. And so in this play, Marilyn, Mom and Me, the premise that I have set up is that a 40-something Luke learns early on in the play that his mother is terminal with lung cancer, which indeed happened right around the time of my 40th birthday. And so, in order to get at some basic truths about their relationship before his mother dies, he is unraveling her complex relationship with Marilyn Monroe and interviewing her about Marilyn and really getting at the essence of why this woman always made her cry every time she talked about her. So it is a deeply personal play. I am very emotionally exposed in this play because, backtracking a little bit, when I holed up in Palm Springs in the heat of August to write the play, and I said, I'm not going to come out until it's finished. Well, within 3 days, I had a very solid first draft. The play just came pouring out of me. And so I realized so many things about my mother and about her relationship with Marilyn Monroe. So I kind of go back and forth between these two stories. I set out to write a play about my mother and Marilyn, and I wound up writing a play that was every bit as much about my mother and me. So thus the title Marilyn, Mom and Me, because ultimately it is a son making peace with his very complex relationship with his mother through the lens of the chaotic world of movie making with one of the biggest stars in the world at that time. I think people should come and see Marilyn, Mom and Me because they will be surprised. Not only will they learn things about Marilyn that they maybe thought they knew but didn't, They will see things about this mother-son relationship with a legendary Broadway actress. They will they will come away fulfilled. They will come away moved. There are many very funny moments in the play as well. And it is a real heartfelt Valentine to the world of movie making, to the theater, to actresses, and to mothers and sons all over the world. I think it will be a very enriching and rewarding experience for everyone involved. My name is Luke Yankee. Yes, it's my real name. I am a playwright, a director, an actor, a producer, and a theater professor. And I am very excited to talk to you today about my play, Marilyn, Mom, and Me, about my mother, the Oscar-winning actress Eileen Heckart, and her intense friendship with Marilyn Monroe during the shooting of Bus Stop. You can find out more about the play on my website, marilynmomandme.com. That's and all spelled out, or through my other website where I talk about my other projects and my other books, which is lukeyankee.com. That's LUKEYANKEE.com, just the way it sounds. I'll see you at the theater.